Hey guys, such a cool fall day. It's like a little bit stormy. You can see the dark clouds, but then it's also sunny. If I go this way, you can see the sun shining through the trees. Whoops, I always go backwards. There's a little bit of a little bit of blue sky up there. Isn't that nice? Oh my God. It's so crisp and cool out here. It's just really feeling like fall. And fall always makes me feel more witchy. It's the season of the witch. I mean, why wouldn't it? I just wanted to talk to you guys today about some of my new ventures that I am getting into. Um, so I am starting an intuitive guide business. What does that mean? Well, first of all, an intuitive guide is someone who uses intuition and spirituality to help others um, with their life. It's essentially a life coach, but it incorporates spirituality and um, so it's a little more than just a life coach. But I'm starting this business. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, guys. No, I'm actually very excited about this. When I first started therapy in June, my therapist actually brought up me being a coach in like our first session. And when she talked about it, it sounded really cool, but immediately I had these voices in my head telling me, no, that's not going to work. You can't do it. And there were all these reasons why I couldn't do it, right? So I kind of forgot about it. But at that time, in my defense, I was really going through a lot. I had just started FMLA and I was having adrenal fatigue and health issues. And so I just wasn't really in a position to think about my future like that. So over the next couple of months, working with my therapist, I have made huge leaps and bounds. I have literally transformed. It's crazy. Like if you had a time lapse camera on me for the past year, I think you would literally see me transforming like into something else. I have quantum jumped, and I don't really know what that means, but I know that it happens on eclipses, and on one of the eclipses earlier this year, I definitely felt a quantum jump. I felt like I had transformed into it was starting the next phase of my life. And now here I am. Things are so different. I mean, it's so apparent that I really did quantum jump and begin a transformation because I am transforming as we speak. Um, the sun is pretty. Hello, sun. There's nothing like a natural filter in the sun. Like it just makes everything look better. Beautiful, beautiful. And there's Sainty. Sainty, say hi. Sainty, say hi. Anywho, so that's what's going on with me. So here's the other thing. I created a Facebook page called The Town Witch. And that is or is going to be my my business page for my intuitive guide business for intuitive coaching. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it yet. Still working that part out. But it's got me a little nervous once again because it has the word witch in it. And you know how people get so hung up on that word, right? So I go back and forth. Part of me is like, oh, I need to change it to something more mainstream, something that will attract more clientele and not like scare people off or exclude like a certain type of person or whatever. So that's one side of it, right? But then the other side of it, I say to myself, I'm on this journey. This is a new journey that I'm on. And I am now my authentic self, okay? For the first time in my life, I am being authentic in doing what I want to do with my life. I've always done it for other reasons and other people, and now I'm doing it for myself. I'm following that little voice that's been in the back of my head my whole life that I've ignored and told was, stupid or ridiculous or whatever. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm listening to her because that voice, that's me. That is my intuition. That is me at my core talking to me. It's been telling me, you need to go into spirituality and witchcraft and like help other people, and you need to relate to your Gemini side and grow past the Virgo that you've been in for so long. So I'm finally listening to her. And that's kind of cool because I just made that realization that voice that I've heard all my life telling me to do the things that are scary, but also exciting, difficult, but also a labor of love. That voice that has been telling me that all these years, that has been my voice, my own voice. And I wasn't listening to her. So it's so crazy to me that it's like we're conditioned to not listen to our true selves or something. I had therapy this morning, and my therapist and I were talking about this stuff, and she was saying how she has a background in neuroscience, which is super cool because she can back everything up by science, right? But she was telling me that babies are born with a lot more neurons than what we have as we grow older. Because as we grow older, those neurons die if they're not used. So essentially, what that sounded like to me was like we're born with so much more capability in our brains than we realize. Who knows? Maybe that means we have extra senses that we just don't pay attention to as we get older, that we filter out. She called it pruning. So it's like we're a plant, right? And our brain is literally like the flower, or yeah, I guess it would be like the flower, and our whole body's the plant. So our brains are filled with all these neurons, right? And if we don't use all of them, instead of going to waste and your brain spending energy to keep those neurons alive, it lets those neurons die. And then it creates new neurons and pathways where you're actually focusing your energy. So think about it. When we go into school, right, as children, we're immediately taught to sit down, be quiet, listen, follow directions, do this math problem, learn these letters. And like we're so focused on teaching kids to become a, a member of society and to follow the rules that we've all been told we should follow, right? And so what if that child who is like say they have ADHD and, they can't sit still and they're all over the place, right? But I've seen it where they have a super creative mind and they're almost like genius in a way. They can do things that kids at their level are not doing. But we're trying to suppress that by saying, sit down, be quiet, do your homework that I've given you, these boring like math sheets and whatnot, right? So what if we didn't do that to kids? What if we looked at them, paid attention to who they are and what they're doing, and what if we changed the way we interact with them according to who they are as people and what they're good at and what they're interested in? It's an interesting concept. I think we would have a completely different society of adults if we had been raised that way in school. Anyway, we create our reality. Our perceptions are our reality. And I know you probably hear that a lot, and it's like, okay, whatever. What does that mean, though? Well, I think it means this. Whatever we focus on, that's what we're manifesting. And I know manifest is a big buzzword too. And all that means is manifesting just means like creating our reality, basically. And I know the word manifesting just sounds so magical and like, but this stuff can actually is backed by neuroscience. So manifesting is real. When you focus your attention day in and day out on whatever it is that you want to manifest, your dreams, whatever you're focused on at that time, you focus on it every day. You think about it, you journal about it, you can do a ritual about it on the new moon and the full moon. And you're building those new neural pathways within your brain that had died a long time ago because you weren't nourishing them. So you start to nourish your dream and you start to manifest your dream. It's honestly pretty simple when you break it down. It's about repetition. We can change the way we think by repeatedly focusing on that change. So I used to think negative all the time. I used to be a very negative person, anxious all the time, worried about everything, and it made me sick, literally. I had a lot of health problems from it. And when I started to get into spirituality 10 years ago or so or more, that's when I really started to see a change in my life, because the first thing I did was I shifted my thinking. Every time I would have a negative thought come in to my head, I would try to replace it. And it worked to an extent. I noticed some changes. Now it didn't completely work. I was still having some issues. I was still stuck. I was in a job that I didn't like, and I wasn't being creative as much in using my artistry that I love so much and that I'm so passionate about. So after going to therapy for the past few months, that's when I really transformed and banished the rest of that negativity. It was a voice that was constantly in my head telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good enough. People don't like you, people think you're dumb. It's just a lot of negativity. So what I'm saying is we can alter our perceptions of reality. And when you do it this way, through like coaching and guidance and, over time, it's interesting how you look back and you're like, wow, I've come so far. Because when you're in it, you don't necessarily realize how much you're growing and transforming at that moment. It's when you come out on the other side that you can really look back and have some really deep reflections on what you've gone through and how you changed. I can connect synchronicities to just about every event in my life. Like, this is my partner, this is why he's in my life and how he's helped me, and all of the things that happened before and my traumas and things, those were all things that were part of my karmic path. I think I've said that before, that if we just listen to the universe, it's always trying to help us, or she's always trying to help us. I like to use the universe in, I don't know, in the feminine, because I think of the universe as like mother. She's always trying to guide us and help us, and we're her unruly children who just don't listen, and we think we know everything and we have all the answers. When really, if we would just stop and listen to our mother, life would be so much easier. That's so cute. I love it. Oh gosh. Okay, look at this behind me. Hold on. Ooh, that sky is pretty. Let's see. Ooh, gorgeous. There was a time in my life where I didn't want I didn't want to live anymore. I get emotional when I talk about it because I have so much empathy for myself now that I never used to have. And so I literally just feel bad for that young woman who just didn't know who she was, couldn't find her way. And that's when I found spirituality. That's when I picked up Oracle and just started asking the universe for help. I just knew it was like one last ditch effort to try to save myself. Um, yeah, it's hard to talk about because it was such a dark period in my life, and I feel like I'm so far removed from that now. Like I'm truly, genuinely happy for the first time in my life. I mean, I wasn't even a happy teenager. I was just really depressed and lonely and self-conscious. And just, but again, I'm so grateful for those experiences, because had I not experienced the depression, the lowest of lows, the not wanting to live, and if I hadn't experienced those, would I really be able to feel this immense sense of joy now? I don't know. I wouldn't have anything to compare it to. I don't know. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. It's okay. That was a close call. So maybe my dog has quantum jumped as well, because this little dog off of leash just came and ran up to Saint, and I was so busy talking I didn't notice. And I had Saint on leash, and in the past, Saint would freak out and fight with dogs if they approached him while he was on the leash. He has a lot of PTSD. He was attacked a lot when he was younger by some local dogs that would beat up on him all the time, and so he developed this fear of other dogs, and he would act out by being really aggressive because he's a big big dog. He's a big German Shepherd. He's purebred, and he's yeah. So anyway, hi guys. Hi Sainty. That's such a good boy. That's such a good boy, Saint. Oh, did you make a new friend? Hi, friend. Aren't you cute? Hello. I think somebody's calling you though. Anyway, a couple of days ago, I think it was actually on the day of the new mini clips that we just had. Me and Saint got home from going for a walk, and we pulled in the driveway, and these little dogs next door were peeking through the fence, and they always antagonize Saint. And then he runs over there and he barks at him really loud, and like bullies him, tries to scare him, right? So we got home, and I said, "Okay, when I open this door and you get out, you better not go run over to those doggies, okay? You be a good boy." And good boy, Saint. Saint, you're being such a good boy. And so I said, "Okay, I'm gonna open the door. You better not go run over there." He started to run over there, and all I did in a calm voice, I said, "Saint, be a good boy." And he stopped and he ran back to me. He caught himself. And I was like, "Oh my God, my dog just quantum leaped. He's a more mature doggy now. He's listening. He's a good boy." So he was always a good boy. He just, yeah, you're always a good boy, huh? It wasn't his fault. He had this PTSD from these dogs that would beat up on him. So maybe I've coached him into becoming more chill. Not, I think it was anxiety and stuff that would take over in him, and he thought he had to protect me. And so anyway, I think that's cool. Me and my dog are both transforming.